Oh, give me bandale. Comment vous t'en regardez maître Yo. Le grand maître Kaya Moussa, le grand boss na Cape Town. Adolphe Moutebati la Mouina. Michael Jackson. Bingouya. Conflit écart. Radio Voltage 2. Yo. Yoté. Keba. Chantal Lomba superstar. Big Master Njuka Bogos. Dédoninga liberté Nangaku. Master Njuka. Oh Lobatro. Oh Kosatro. Oh Kobobosa na kombo na ngaite. Oublie mon nom. Manipulateur. Joseph Berthier. Blaise Moulolé. Libuchini Kamamboama. La nuit, amour, Juma Jai. Elle est mariée, dis-lui que tu l'aimes. Elle est mariée, donne-lui du respect. Elle est mariée, veille à son bonheur. Fumamwela, Yuma, allez calme-toi. Fumamwela, Mende, yo, Fumamwela, Andoze, Isebola. Tata Kibokolo. Belle mariée, toi le beau gosse marié. Voici la chanson des mariés par Koffi Olomide.
And that's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
And once again, we'd like to say a big welcome to another exciting edition of the program Ashford Garley Live.
Oh, give me bandale.
On your favorite platform, British Radio Africa. We're simultaneously coming your way on BritishRadioAfrica.com, our Facebook and our British Radio Africa page. And we're also live on YouTube. Simply tap in the search column British Radio Africa on your YouTube channel page. And of course, you will catch us live right now as we speak. Mr. Jerome Roberts is in the building. Michael Bobby Bull. As you begin, you polish your hair. Shining by well. Then we have Louis and Goziba. We also have Wuplata, Sarah Snag, Adolphus M. Khan is in the building as well. Hey folks, don't be selfish now. Share the video, invite a few friends. We are going to have fun tonight. Elizabeth Bowen said, "You ready? No play, our giant." And tonight we have the Honorable Councillor J. FONATI KOFFA,
Joseph Berthier,
Representative Grand Crew, County District Number 2. He's in our studios tonight, folks. Mark Morris is also in the building. Oh, man.
Elle est mariée, dis-lui que tu l'aimes. Elle est mariée, donne-lui du respect. Elle est mariée, veille à son bonheur. Fais-moi là. Yuma, à l'école, mets-toi. Fais-moi là. Mende, yo, fais-moi là. En 12. C'est beau là. Tata qui beaucoup là. Papa Mobimba. Papa Mobimba. Papa Mobimba. Papa Mobimba. Papa Mobimba. Papa Mobimba. Belle mariée.
Hey, that's right. This is the song that introduces the show. Are you ready for the night? Bethel Stewart is in the building. Willard Amibwe Bollard is also in the building. Comfort Abul is in the building as well. Folks, make no mistake and throw no joke on this one. This is yours truly, the brother who doesn't eat iron, but he's definitely stronger than a lion. And that's what they call him, the giant, the 9-year-old man. The medicine of the microphone, the golden voice of Liberia. Welcome to Ashford Garley Live on British Radio Africa. Invite a few friends, grab something to drink, get the popcorn rolling, and let's have fun. That 9-year-old man. And because of special engagement, Mrs. Lexi Brooks Roberts would not be in tonight. So I'm solo tonight, you know. Josephus Shah Thomas is in the building. At Davos MCAN, he says, the only platform you can get factual information. Paul and Bean, Mr. Gotti, please shake it and rock it for us. And I just did that. Okay, very shortly, as soon as we get a signal from our guest, he will be live, folks. Brace yourselves. You might learn something tonight. Let's have fun. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, we'd like to say a big welcome to Ashford Garley Live on this beautiful Wednesday night. It's ladies' night. And as always, Mazula Gisi, welcome to the show. Blood Sampong Batu, welcome to the show. It's ladies' night. And of course, it feels great to be back home. I know some heard the name, some heard people talk about them, but you've gotten the opportunity tonight to at least put the name to the face. All right? I'm Ashford Garley. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us tonight the Honorable Representative from Grand Crew County, District 2 to be precise, Councillor J. FONATI KOFFA. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Councillor KOFFA. Hello, Councillor.
Hi, how are you?
Well, too blessed to be stressed as always. I will just give you a minute or two to give us your opening statement, and then we can go from there.
I'm glad to be here. Happy to be invited on your show. It's my first time being on your show. I represent District Number 2, Grand Crew County, that covers Sasstown, Boal, Fopo, Judah, and Barclayville area of Grand Crew County, southeast in Liberia. in the legislature, I chair the Judiciary Committee.
Hello, are you there?
Hello.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah. That was my brief introduction.
Okay, well, Honorable KOFFA, you were elected to represent the people of Grand Crew County, District Number 2, during the 2017 presidential and general elections. What would you say have been your major contributions to your county?
Well, at this point, the way Liberia is organized, the way the legislature is organized, the way we do things here, especially, is that in addition to the principal functions of a lawmaker, which involves oversight, rulemaking, and representation, your constituency, bringing home the bacon for your constituency actually means bringing home the actual bacon. You have to engage in projects. Right now, we're doing 3 elementary school projects, one in Jimbwati in Grand Crew County in my district. That is to erect an elementary school to prevent children of elementary school age from walking almost hour distance in order to get to school. What happens is when a child in an elementary school age has to walk an hour to go to school, oftentimes you find in Grand Crew County that the parent decides that the child would not go to school. And so what we did was, because these children had to move from one town to the other, we decided to locate a school in their town, which is called Jimbwati. So reduced the walk time from an hour to about 10 minutes at most from any child living in that area. Then in Tebu, we also have constructing elementary school there. In Sastown, we are constructing actually a brand new school in place of a school that is grossly dilapidated. So we are engaged in those kinds of things. During the COVID period, we've done extensively massive awareness in Grand Crew County, which was had one of the first cases, and then was declared corona-free, and now has spiked to about 6 cases because the Sastown Hospital had 1 case that spread. And so we're trying to work with the health authorities to contain that.
Well, of late, we have heard about representatives and senators like yourself talk about building schools. Is it in the name of the county? Is it a personal initiative? Take for example when Representative FONATI KOFFA is no more representative.
Yeah, so when you raise funds to do that, you turn the school over to the school system. It will be turned over to the Ministry of Education, staffed by the Ministry of Education. The students will be within the Ministry of Education curriculum. So the infrastructure is constructed by us, and then
we kind of lost them due to some internet connectivity. To see if we can have him come back in just a little bit. You know that, folks. It's Liberia. Sometimes the internet can add up, So we're hoping that very shortly we can reconnect with the honorable representative. Don't go away. In the meantime, if you're just joining us, folks, that we have with us tonight the Honorable FONATI KOFFA, the representative of Grand Crew County, District 2, to be exact. He's our special guest tonight, and let me just go ahead and say hi to some of you who just joined the program. Robert Bayoga, I've been timing you all, Mr. God said, and Wheeler Amway, the Giant. I also see Better Stewart, She says to join as well. Then let's see. Comfort Abu. I'm looking for someone to cook for my propo dry rice. She says. I don't know what happened, folks. I see that my professional colleague Charles B. Yates following from Liberia. Oh wow, Charlie, what's up, my brother? You up this late? I'm not surprised because you know your meme man is on now. So I'm not surprised. Andrea Clark is on here, and Robert Bayoga. Oh, Federal Griswold is also on here tonight. Go, we have him back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I'm new to this platform.
That's okay. That's okay. We're gonna get there. Just relax. Okay, we're gonna get that. Yeah, you were explaining about turning the school over to the. Even though you began the initiative, but at the end of the day, you would turn the school over to the school system, and it will be
we turn the infrastructure. We turn the infrastructure over to the government to run. The benefit is that those children don't have to walk an hour or so to go to school, and their parents don't have to make decisions to keep them at home. They actually get an education.
Now,
that is the benefit.
That's good. That's very good. Now, have you, Honorable Representative, initiated or championed any bills that have been a direct impact on the lives of the people of Grand Crew? If yes, please state the specific bill and its current status. Hello, are you there? Council? Jeez, this internet issue, man, you know. I don't know. Yeah, okay. I think we have you back. Did you get my question? Okay.
No.
Let's do this.
I heard about bills.
Okay. My question was, have you initiated or championed any bills that have had a direct impact on the lives of the people of Grand Crew? If yes, please state the specific bill and its current status.
Okay, so the first bill we initiated was called the Liberian Business Empowerment Bill, which is currently now in committee. The way things work, you have to build consensus to those things. What it does is it creates several set-asides, which have been codified from the beginning in 1976, but then which have been made more specific by this bill, and granted incentives through the Ministry of Commerce and the Liberian Bank for Development and Investment to be able to have people not only have certain businesses for Liberians, but also to be able to give them access to capital to be able to finance their bill. That has a direct impact on my district because in my district, you have a lot of small businesses. You have a lot of people who are doing microfinance and need microfinancing. Most of the benefits of people who work in my district are citizens of my district. So that will have a direct impact on them. And so that empowerment bill will be designed to help them and allow LBDI to come in and give them assistance in terms of both financing and loans to be able to build and grow their businesses.
Okay, folks, if you just joining us, we have with us tonight the Honorable FONATI KOFFA. He's our special guest. Again, you're okay, and welcome on the show. Our little piece of advice is to please respect the platform, respect our guests. Sometimes you might disagree, but please be civil as we have our conversation tonight. Now, Honorable KOFFA, there are reports, I think you alluded to it earlier, there are reports that several medical staff at Southtown Maternity Hospital, a major referral hospital for maternity cases in Grand Crew, have been affected by COVID-19, and the hospital is closed down as we speak. Can you please confirm this information or inform the public as to what is being done to reopen the facility?
So the facility is not, the structure is closed down, but the service is not closed down. Because what happened was, interestingly enough, the president had initiated a crew, if you will, but especially in Sasstown, that was due to be dedicated just before the COVID pandemic struck. So they remained vacant. So what happened was, we decided in coordination with the hospital facilities and keep the hospital facility as quarantine center where those patients are now being treated. The COVID patients are at the hospital, and regular patients, outpatients, are being seen at the 3 units that have been converted into what's going on. So no service has been interrupted as we speak.
Okay, thank you for that response. We have heard of plans by the German, by the German government to build a new hospital in Grand Cru. We're also in the process of how receptive. Okay, where are we in this process, Honorable Representative, and how receptive are the people of Southtown to this initiative?
Oh, the people are very receptive. It's not only Southtown; it's 2 hospitals actually. They are going to construct the Tomo Nimel Hospital, a reconstruction of the Town Hospital in Grances. So it will get 2 bites at the German apple. People are very excited about that. As you know, referral hospital in Grand Cru County serve the entire population. So having it being an upgraded facility is actually the cry of the chief medical officer of the county had to donate a 45 kVA generator earlier this year to that hospital because they started to use phone lights. We are glad that facility, as we speak, is now ongoing reconstruction and renovation. And so we thank the German government for that, and the people are very excited about it.
Now, let me ask you this. How is the housing project of the president in your county, and what are the communities that have benefited so far?
The project started in Francis, Pignesses area, Wow area. It will, at the end of the day, cover maybe about 60 to 70% of Grand going up now in Grand G. Is expanding in other counties as we speak, except only slowed by the issue of the pandemic. But it will cover about 60% of the dilapidated housing units were broken down and replaced with concrete structures, especially and the very vulnerable in those parts of the country. And
now, Honorable Counsel, it is our understanding that the people of Nokia, Nokia said they did not benefit from the presidential housing project and they are not happy. Would they be considered before the project phases out of Grand Cru County?
Yes, my understanding when I spoke the last time with the director, there are going to be about 6 to 8 units that will be in the Nokia area. What is happening is they have decentralized the contracting, so it's not contractor. And so each of the contractors are responsible to bring in their own supplies and equipment. So the delay may be on the issue of the part of the contractor that was selected to construct those housing units in Nokia. But before the project is complete, the Nokia will be affected and will benefit from the housing units.
Now, it has been over 10 years now since the Golden Valonian Agreement was rectified by the legislature. When will it be up for review, and what are some of the issues that Grand Crew County would like to include?
Okay, so Golden Valorium is a tricky issue at this point. Like every concession, Golden Valorium is now up for review. The issues we have had to intervene this year. Last year, as a matter of fact, first we went into a labor strike. There have been several labor issues there. There have been complaints by the workers on the condition of labor, which we've intervened in. Golden Valorium has complained that the market prices for their product has dropped, and so recently they have laid off some work. Their benefit. There are issues regarding their social, what we call their social corporate responsibilities. That is the schools and hospitals they are supposed to build. So those are the issues, management issues, where in a large instance, the workers feel unfairly treated by the management. We have interceded in that. It's amended, mediating both sides so that it's attached to the concession agreement. But that is the issue of GVL, as we call it.
Okay. Again, folks, if you're just joining us, we have with us tonight the Honorable FONATI KOFFA, and he's our special guest tonight. Midway in the program, we're going to open up the telephone line. Perhaps you have one or two questions for him. Tomorrow, we're going to play host to Quincy T. Wajula. That's, today climaxes our session of politics. And then next Monday, we'll play host to the Minister of Public Works. And many more great things to happen on Bridge Radio Africa. Now, Honorable Counsel, to what extent are concessionaires complying with their corporate social responsibilities?
Look, the disappointing thing about concessionaires and corporate social responsibility is that generally they take their corporate social responsibility to be the last thing on the list. And that's one of the things we try to push them towards. We appreciate the fact that these concessionaires come in the area and provide jobs.
Jeez. Very bad signal tonight. Jeez. Okay, we seem to be having a very serious end of the issue here tonight. Counsel, can you hear me now?
Yeah. I'm not too close. I'm in a C area, so you're gonna have we have Wi-Fi problems here, and I apologize for that. We talk about corporate social responsibility. I was saying that look, is one of the things they put off when they come in. For example, GVL is complaining about market prices, so they delay doing schools and the hospital, while at the same time they are planting. So it's the question of how do you trade off jobs for schools and hospitals, which are supposed to do. We try to push them towards doing those things. Like, for example, in the case of Firestone, the biggest controversy with Firestone now is that Firestone wants to put off its responsibility in managing school and hospital in their concession, put that off to a private concession, and only tap rubber. So the corporate social responsibility part of the concession agreement are generally the most difficult part, because the concessionaire really does not want to comply with that. And that creates the concessionaire and the government or the local folks, and we have to step in.
Okay. Now, Honorable Counsel, we are told that many communities in Grand Cru are complaining of no access to GSM networks. Are there any considerations for them to get connected under the LTA Universal Access Program?
Yes, actually, the first community that benefited from the Universal Access Program is going to cover more than 7,000 persons. They just completed installing the tower, and then we were on our way. I was actually in Southtown to drive up to the dedication program when the government declared that it was going to have a state of emergency because of the coronavirus outbreak. So we suspended that program, came back to Monrovia to do the state of emergency. Because of the pandemic, the contractor has now gone there to complete the tower. Once the tower is completed, the GSM network will be available by then it will be 80% of Grand Cru. And we will be able to, within the next year or two, have the Universal Access Program to install additional towers, which will cover nearly 100% of the county.
Now, there is a vocational training college in the county, Honorable Counsel. Now, to what extent are the young people making use of it? What is the approximate enrollment rate?
The vocational training center right now is still under development. There are still budgetary issues. There are staffing issues. So we are not at the capacity where we can say that it is fully developed, that students are attending. They are doing some classes at the Barclayville Central High School as an alternative site, but we still need to deal with the budget issue, fully fund it, and capacitate it for it to be able to fully function. So I cannot call that a fully functioning vocational center at this point. Okay.
Now, my next question to you, Honorable Counsel, are you aware of any mining activity in Grand Cru? If yes, what is being mined and how is it benefiting the people of Grand Cru?
There's a lot of illegal mining going on in Grand Cru. Most of what happens in Grand Cru is what we call artisanal mining. So there's not a mining concession company in Grand Cru. A lot of the foreigners come into the county. Just imagine there was a time where on the shores of Southtown appeared almost 300 Ghanaian miners. They get in a canoe from Ghana and land on the beaches of Grand Cru. They bring with them certain machinery and equipment that engage in illegal mining. Twofold. The first is the law enforcement manpower capacity. We were able to get immigration and some police contingent out there to begin arresting and putting a halt to that activity. You do not have the facility. The holding facility is number one. Lawyers come in to claim that you cannot hold somebody for more than 48 hours. You either have to let them go. There's nowhere to let them go. In the case of the Ghanaian embassy, the embassy was not very accessible in terms of reaching to Grand Cru to make sure its citizens are taken out of the country. Two, you can't dump them to the Ivorian border. And so you have some problems in how do you manage this whole group of illegal aliens that you had on the shores. The second problem with that is when they come in, they lease houses and facilities from our residents. And when law enforcement go in there to look for them, our citizens hide those people. They give shelter to them, they give comfort to them, and they make sure law enforcement does not find them. The resulting problem is gravely environmental. There is no standard in artisanal mining. There's a lot of environmental destruction, floods all over the place. When you hear about the floods and the destruction of the very rules, the little rules we have there is due to the artisanal mining. There has been concerted effort. There's a moratorium on it now that was imposed by the Ministry of Lands and Mines at the request of the caucus. It's not very effective because the Ministry of Lands and Mines does not have the personnel to go and police every area of the county to prevent it. That is a major problem in Grand Crew.
Now, Honorable Counsel, it is alleged that you and President Ware are directly or indirectly involved in mining activities in Grand Crew. How do you respond?
That's the first time I've heard that allegation that the president are involved in mining. If I have any mine or any gold in Grand Crew, please take it and you can have it and you can sell it. No, I do not know anything about mining. The president are not involved in mining in Grand Crew. That is not one of the Grand Crew is trying to brush a farm to plant cocoa and my infrastructure projects. I'm not making business in Grand Crew. I'm a lawyer by profession, and I'm happy to do that. I'm not aware of any mining activity that the president has going on in Grand Crew either.
Haven't you also heard about the allegation of the president's brother-in-law doing some mining activities in Grand Crew?
Yeah, there was an allegation of the president's brother-in-law doing mining activity in Grand Crew with the AFL, which was clarified by the AFL that the civil engineer unit that's in Grand Crew to do road construction. I have no independent evidence that that is not true. I believe there was a statement issued by the president's brother-in-law that said he was not engaged in it. I have not seen evidence of that. I have not seen him in Grand Crew. I have not seen any evidence that the president's brother-in-law is involved in mining in Grand Crew. I have not seen much evidence that that remains an allegation that needs to be proven.
So the presence of the AFL with their equipment had nothing to do with mining in Grand Crew, correct? Is that what you're saying?
When we first got the allegation, we got some pictures that had some equipment, some AFL equipment in some of the principal mining areas in Grand Crew, right? The pictures did not show them engaged in mining. The allegation then became that they were engaged in
Again, folks, we do apologize for the poor quality of the network. You know, it's rainy season in Liberia, so sometimes these things don't work effectively. We're back, Council. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So we asked the Minister of Defense to investigate and report back to us on our oversight responsibility. The report showed no evidence of that. So, you know, I can go on speculation, but I choose not to.
Okay, the report shows no evidence of that. We'll leave it as that, and we'll go to the public opinion. Again, Honorable Counsel, you led the investigation into a marriage debacle between two ladies who claimed to be married to your former colleague, Representative J. Nagwe-Slaw. How is that investigation going?
Hello.
Did you get my question? Counsel, did you get my question?
Yeah. Maybe I was trying to hide from the question. Go ahead.
I said you led the investigation into a marriage debacle between two ladies who claimed to be married to your former colleague, Representative J. Nagwe-Slaw. How is that investigation going?
Oh, okay. So I chair the House Judiciary Committee. That means the chief legal officer of the House of Representatives. So when the issue was brought to us, plenary asked that we issue a legal opinion. We have issued that legal opinion to plenary. I'm not sure it has been released to the public, but I think the House of Representatives is proceeding in line with that legal opinion. I spoke with both ladies during the course of drafting my opinion, and I have advised them to seek counsel to help them resolve the issues. Namwe was a very close friend of mine. I would definitely like to see those issues resolved so we can see him laid to rest.
We are told that you ruled in favor of Ruth Doe, the first wife, who submitted a photo and a marriage certificate issued in Liberia, and not Mrs. Kou Keto Slaw, the second wife, who also presented her marriage certificate issued by the government of Liberia. What led to this decision when, in fact, both women have certificates issued by the government of Liberia?
No, the government of Liberia would not have issued two marriage certificates. Here is the law. Without speaking to this particular case, in Liberia, you can only contract one marriage. The marriage is a unique contract that is between two parties in the state. Only one marriage can be contracted at a time. So the first marriage that is contracted is always the legal marriage unless there is evidence that there was a divorce. So there would not be a situation where two marriages will be contracted, because in order to contract two marriages, the second marriage would have been the crime of bigamy. So just speaking generally as the law, unless there's a divorce, a marriage remains a marriage within the eyes of the state unless otherwise dissolved. And that would have been consistent with what we would have found. I did not, in my review two marriage certificates. I reviewed one marriage certificate.
Okay. Now, it is also said that the late Honorable Namwe Slaw and Mrs. Kohu Kedor Slaw have been living together for over 18 years and have two children. And they both lived just about 1 hour where Miss Ruth Doe lives. For almost 2 decades, Ruth Doe did not claim Namwe, has not been seen with Namwe. Namwe was remarried and living with Kohu Kedor Slaw. Now, Ruth claims she was still married to Namwe Slaw. Is the law blind?
Justice is blind. Exists for several purposes to protect certain institutions. There are things that you have to do when you want to dissolve marriage, and one of it is a divorce. As I said before, it is one of those. The unique thing about marriage is between a man and a woman and the sovereign, okay, which is the state, and a man, until those two persons in line with the state cause is their solution. To the extent that because they are dead, if we move on the emotion, and let me tell you this, from a personal perspective, the only wife that I have known from Namwe is Cole. So it will be easy for me to say that she's Namwe's wife. But when you are looking at the law, I have to look at what was the first marriage. If that is where the law is going to lie. And that's why I advise women with giving into either of them. There has been a lawsuit filed in the civil law court, and that will proceed according to the laws.
Now, Honorable Counsel, did your investigation take into account language law next kind of documents at the legislature, the National Elections Commission, and the Liberia News Agency, Lena, where he worked, since both women have marriage certificates?
Our opinion, rendering an opinion, we examined all of the documents that all of the parties invite, all of the parties. So there was not an independent investigation. That would be the product of a court. All I had to do was to advise my colleague, look, here is what the law is, here is what the facts are. Applying the facts to the law, this is what my opinion is. So what was submitted to me is what we applied in terms of writing an opinion for my colleagues in the House, and that is where we fell. Ultimately, this is something that is going to be determined in our system of government by a court. My only issue was, in the event this goes to court, the House of Representatives, which is the first branch of government, does not want to be seen outside of the four squares. And so, to the extent that there are documents,
Hello? Yeah, we're back. Go ahead.
extent that there were evidence submitted to us, to the extent that there was evidence submitted to us, we took a solid legal opinion. The rest is up to the court of Liberia. I'm not a judge.
Okay, he says, I'm not a judge. That's the last word that I heard from it. Honorable Counsel, are you still there?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm here. I said that the matter, since I'm not a judge, I only render an opinion as a lawyer. I advise both parties to get a lawyer. I advise a court of law.
Okay. Now, some Liberians are alleging that Speaker Buffalo Chambers and few others are playing politics with the late language law, and you are going with the flow now that he is dead because he was a fearless critic of the speaker. How do you respond?
Well, I'm not sure what terminology I want to use to be polite, but that is not correct. In this matter, I can say everyone, okay, wish, number one, from the House of Representatives, that number will receive an honorable and fair as quickly as possible. There are some lawmakers who are intervening and trying to ensure that reconciliation and peace prevails in order to allow Namwe to be buried. I have spoken to Cole, who, again, I will tell you personally, I know to be Namwe's wife, because that's the person he introduced to me. I have spoken to Ruth, who I have spoken to for the first time, who presented evidence of marriage, which was earlier in time than the purported marriage of Namwe and Cole. So we would like to see some reconciliation in this regard, even as we are pursuing what we believe to be the legal road. No one in the House of Representatives is taking pleasure in this. No one wants to step on Namwe because of any political differences. Namwe's law, if it was very vocal on anything he said, I'm not sure anybody hold it personally against him in his death. He was my friend. He was brutally honest with me always, as he was brutally honest with everyone he dealt with. And he never minced his words. And nobody is going to hold Namwe's law to it. We are all very sorry at what happened. I talked to him 2 days before he died when he was when he had his problem. He took a picture of his foot and
Again, folks, we apologize. Please bear with us. We're having some serious connectivity issues here tonight, and I believe we're
okay,
back.
you there?
Yeah, go. Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Yeah. As I said, I spoke to him 2 days before he died. I was with Honorable Vincent Willie on the phone with Honorable Vincent Willie with him at JFK when he was there all of the day. That night, spoke to my wife just before she came home, and he was in tough shape. So nobody took a pleasure. I read all of the chats from the chat room. This is not politics. It's all about us trying to make sure now that you have controversy, okay, that was not brought on by the House of Representatives, but brought on by these two ladies in Namwe's life. We have to first look to the law, and then we will look to our various sympathies and hope reconciliation and peace will reign to bring Namwe to a final resting place.
Now, tell us about Namwe's thought. What type of gentleman he was? We knew him from far. You worked with him, both on different sides. But
you know, he's not a person who I can mourn. I can't mourn him. He was my friend simply because he lived. That's the way he lived. He did not live necessarily for tomorrow. What you saw with Namwe's Law is what you got. What he thought about you is what he would tell you. You know, there was some times where I would wake up in the morning and I would see a very nasty text from Namwe's Law, you know, I mean, reading expletives on me for some issue, either at the house or some issue we had dealt with. But yet in the next instance, he would be at my house and drinking all my liquor. Okay. I mean, that's the kind of person he was. He was a good friend. He was a loyal friend. I will miss him because he gave wise counsel on the floor. He fought for what he believed in. And that is how I choose to remember him. I mean, I would really miss Namwe because sometimes when things are really tough in terms of which way we go politically or which issues, the way he couched his issues were always very funny to me, even if they were brutal, even if they were being insulting, even if it was being hateful. It was always funny to me. I would always send him a side chat and tell him to calm down. We would always chat back and forth. We visited each other often. And, you know, his last text, his last Facebook post, I still have in my phone was when he thought I was ill and he sent a post out there, you know, sympathizing with me, you know, and then I called him, you know, and of course he blew me off. You know, that was Namwe, you know. So he was a good friend, and he will be severely missed.
Well, you come across as one of the influential representatives, even though you are new. A lot of folks listen to you. At a certain point with time, we even heard you were going to run to be speaker. I don't know how true is that information. And another point in time, again, we heard that you were going to leave the lower house to contest the senatorial seat in Grand Crew in the upcoming special elections.
Oh, I mean, it's true. You know, I mean, when we got in initially, we tried to put in our bid for speaker. But, you know, the one thing you will learn about the legislature is a humbling place. You get nothing done unless you have votes. And in order to get votes, you have to build consensus. I think we were too new to build the necessary consensus to take the leadership. We landed in the number 5 position, which for a new lawmaker is yes, I would say is pretty influential. Being chair of the judiciary, I'm happy to do that with my colleagues. I decided not to contest the 2020 special elections because for me, being a lawmaker is about doing things. It's about impacting people's lives. Yeah, am I going into my 3rd year as an elected member of District 2, I sat down and evaluated what am I going to say are my achievements, okay, that would lead me to want to be a senator for the entire county. I look at everything I was doing. As much as we believe we were doing a lot and accomplishing a lot, I did not feel comfortable that I could go on a campaign trail and adequately feel satisfied that it was right to abandon District 2 and District 2 projects and District 2 programs that we were just now putting into place to run a grueling Senate campaign in Grand Creek County. So I had to abandon that in favor of my duty to the citizens of my district, because I ran and was elected to do something for District 2. I want to leave a legacy in that district, and so being senator was not as important to me.
Well, last week, one of your colleagues, Honorable Yeke Koluba, was involved into a little altercation with the Deputy Police Director for Operations, and I'm told you were one of those that stepped in, intervened. Could you please bring us up to speed as to what you know so far concerning the outburst?
Well, I was on my way to work when I saw in the legislative chat room that Yeke was in an altercation. Yeke being my colleague, I couldn't just drive by and go to work. When I got to where the principal incident took place, GT Bank, that had been over. The one where most people saw the famous video of Honorable Koluba on top of the vehicle. I only saw that incident later on Facebook. I followed the convoy as they were going to the Capitol building, and then I witnessed the second altercation between what they call the 102, the Deputy Director of Police, and my colleague Honorable Cole and Honorable Koluba on the floor of the House. But I will tell you, that was not the most honorable moment from Honorable Koluba, my colleague. I also think the police could have handled in a more professional manner. Tensions flared at that incident. Even I was not listened to, so I proceeded to get in my car. I didn't want to be in the middle of a police melee. But then it was eventually resolved. It was resolved by the speaker. Thankfully, Honorable Koluba went his way. The police was able to go back to do their job. Could we have done things better? Yes. I wish Honorable Koluba had stayed home. I wish the police had exercised a little bit more restraint. But you know, sometimes these things happen than it did for governance. But you know, we live and learn. I think next time, it's a result of this controversial law, which as a lawmaker or a member of the judiciary or the presidential convoy, you are allowed to use the third lane when it is safe to do so. Okay. In this case, in the vehicle that was being chased by the police, my colleague was not in it. And that vehicle should not have been used in the third lane. He later came and said that vehicle could not have been arrested. It had a plate on it. I think by courtesy, normally they wouldn't, but maybe because of the manner in which he approached it, they tried to arrest it, and the situation got out of hand temporarily, but it quickly got resolved.
Again, he was not in the vehicle, number one, and secondly, I believe it is the law that you have to have 2 plates on every vehicle. And in this case of the vehicle belonging to Honorable Koluba had only 1 plate. Do you really think that Honorable Koluba overreacted against the 102, which is vice versa, to both of them?
As I said, I don't like to criticize my colleagues outside of the floor, but since I have told Honorable Koluba this, yes, I think Honorable Koluba provoked the situation, and I will leave it at that.
Well, Honorable Koluba also accused the president of sending one or two to go after him since a witch hunt. And of course, we all know Honorable Kolbai, he does not mean his words. And he went out and went all out.
Yeah, but for Honorable Kolba, if you know him, that characteristic, him, everything is the president. So I'm not surprised at that. I have no evidence that there's a wish hunt for Honorable Kolba. It's more attention getting than anything else. So it was what it was. That the honorable man, his vehicle was being impounded, and he was not going to allow that. Tensions flared, and it was quickly brought under control.
Now,
But not after a few unpleasant videos were taken posted.
Honorable Counsel, you are the head on judiciary in the lower house. The culture of rape in our country is very alarming. Underage girls are getting raped in some instances from relatives of theirs. What are you doing as the head of the judiciary to step in and further tighten the law on rape in Liberia?
Okay, so the first thing is that I'm proud that we were able to champion, after 8 years lingering on the floor of the legislature, we were able to champion the domestic violence bill of 2019. That is something we did last year. Now, what we are doing with our international partners is capacitate the agencies that help to implement that law. The president convened a summit today, a special summit today on that at the ministerial complex, although I was not there. But there is a concerted effort now to ensure two things happen. Number one, how do you identify and prevent these situations from happening? And two, how do you strengthen the laws against the perpetrators? It is especially alarming at the kind of incidents you witness when it involves very young children, and very disturbing. And so there's an effort underway seriously to ensure from all sides both prevention to apprehension and prosecution in a stringent manner take place at this point in Liberia.
Okay, folks. We want to go to the lines now. The number is up there. If you have a question for the Honorable Counsel, you can begin calling now. The telephone number is 248-979-1718. And as we listen forward to hearing from the audience, Honorable Counsel, okay, let's go straight to the line. Okay, we have the last four digits of your number, 3582. Please tell us your name.
This is Ali. How you doing today?
Good. I'm blessed as always. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Yeah, go ahead. Welcome to the show.
Okay. And let me say hello to the honorable man in the house. I have just one question and then a comment regarding honorable. The honorable man said that something about bigamy under the Liberian law, that the Liberian law emphatically says that you can only marry one woman at a time. I guess there has been some misconstrued information going on then that we have believed to be a fact that Liberia is an African cultural society where polygamy is also legal, that polygamy marriages are also protected under the law. How can the honorable man explain this if he would say that if you marry more than one wife, that's bigamy? Another thing regarding the rape situation in Liberia, I like his response. It is a little bit more tedious and technical to make decisions on rape cases in a third world country like Liberia, because in some cases the rape accusers sometimes do make up stories based on whether or not they're against the person. So how are they planning? This is my second question. How are they planning to actually investigate in terms of forensic or DNA diagnostics to identify whether or not the subject was actually raped or not. That's what I have for now so far. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. We'll take two more callers and then go back to the Honorable Counsel. The last four digits of your number, 6896. Please tell us your name.
Yeah, this is Saros Disney.
Mr. Snow, welcome to the show. You're live on the radio.
Thank you, the garden. Yeah, I have one concern, and that has to do with F. When I was working in Maryland at the time, we had the issues with midwives and a healthcare worker as a whole. And so what happened was the midwifery school in Sweden was established to be able to fill the health system in the Southeast with midwives. I do agree. The honorable man is a chair on judiciary, but my concern has to do with the issue of education and health. And I do remember sometime in this year that our school was closed, could not open because of the issue of money. Initially, all of the southeastern counties put money together in their health budget, meaning the county health teams and the CSOs put money together to some extent to help the school to continue, producing midwives. So I want to, appeal to the honorable man to see how the legislative caucus of the Southeast can come together and revive that school, because we need midwives in the southeastern area so as to be able to fuel our health system and produce the kind of quality service that we need. So this is a candid appeal to the honorable man to please rally with the colleagues so that they can be able to, gather our resources to revive that institution. I'm talking about the midwifery school in Sweden.
Thank you.
You're
Okay. One more call, and then we'll go back to the council. 7929. Please tell us your name.
Hello, this is Walu. How you doing, Ashford?
Hey, Dwalo.
How you doing, Council? Thank you so much for having us on the show.
Welcome to the
I'm just
show.
trying to get some clarification, Council. There are reports that you were convicted of embezzlement in the state of North Carolina, and we don't know whether that report is true or not. I want you to speak to that. And if that is true, you oversee a bunch of commissions in Liberia, especially the judiciary, and before that, on the Ellen Johnson Charlotte administration. If this is true, how can we trust that you are not again going to invest some money in Liberia if you are already being convicted of such investment in America? Once again, I'm saying these are reports. I don't know how true they are, but I want you to speak to them, please. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. We'll now go back to council, and then after he responds, we can take a few more calls. Go ahead, council.
Okay, so the first question was the issue of my and statutory laws of Liberia. In marriage in Liberia, you have two issues. One, you either follow the law that we all know, where one man, one wife, or you go on a customary law, which is administered by the Ministry of Internal Affairs, are statutory laws. They have nothing to do with customary laws administered by the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Issue of the healthcare, I'm glad to sign on to whatever. I'm glad to sign on to whatever healthcare initiative from the Southeast Caucus. As a matter of fact, we have engaged in several and supported several health initiatives in Liberia. On the third issue about my own personal life, I would say to the individual that have been involved in Liberian government circles and have been a lawyer. I've embezzled nobody's money, so I'm not sure where you're coming from with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Want to go back to the line. We have Mr. Pia on the line. Hello.
Yes, Garley, how are you?
Good, my brother. Welcome to the show.
Yes, and I want to say hello to my big brother.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I have a simple inquiry that I want the councillor to address. I know he spoke very lengthily about the Yeke Koluba versus Nevin Sako issue, and I think to a greater extent he tried to give a balanced analysis of what really took place. But what I am more concerned about as I watch the video is the fact that the police deputy inspector general called for the arrest. If you watch the video, you hear him saying to the officers on the scene, arrest the man. What I want to know from Councillor KOFFA, within the context of the law, because he's a lawyer, was there any legal basis on account of that traffic-based agreement that was unfolding to order the arrest of a lawmaker? What does our law say in terms of reasons or purposes for which a lawmaker, whether you are from the Senate or the House of Representatives, can be arrested? I want him to address that issue from the legal standpoint. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take two more, and then we'll go back to you again, Council. 3746.
Yes. Hello.
Hello, 3746.
Hello.
Hello, the last four digits of your number, 3746. Please tell us your name.
Is 1846 Raymond? Is it 1846?
No, I'm talking about 3746. 346 is the area code.
One was my area code.
Okay, go ahead, Raymond.
Well, listen, I have a question for the councillor. There are pending elections, and I want us to go back to the previous presidential elections. There were some orders from the court to have the elections full cleanup. If you remember, the Liberal Party had filing. Liberal Party had actually appealed the results of the last election, and I think part of what the court had requested was that the voters' roll be cleaned up. I know that's a court's decision, but we are going into elections on the 8th of December. I know he has oversight in the House, and the courts in the House are separate jurisdictions. But does he have any opinion on where he stands on the Election Commission meeting those requirements that were ordered by the courts prior to the elections on the 8th?
Thank you. We have 4488. The area code is 226.
Hello, Ashford. How are you?
Good. Please tell us your name.
My name is Alexander. I'm calling from London, Ontario, Canada.
Okay, go ahead. Ask your question, please.
I have a question for the councillor. Councillor, how are you? My concern is in regards to the rape issue that's going on in the country. We know that vast majority of alleged rapists, those are things that are committed by people that the victim basically know. And when it comes to prosecuting rape and bringing people to book for committing rape, there has to be a police investigation. There has to be a gathering of forensic evidence to support that a rape actually occurred. As far as I know, the Labrador National Police, the crime lab, the Labrador National Police, is not equipped to gather those forensic evidence. As a result, most of the cases are not going to make it to trial. Is the councillor willing, now that we have a budget that is coming up, is the councillor willing to rally the support of his colleagues to put money to where it belongs, that's supporting the Labrador National Police, especially the crime lab, to make sure that they are equipped to gather those forensic evidence that will lead to people being booked and persecuted for rape? That's my question. Thank you.
Okay, we want to go back to our guest, Honorable Counsel. Your response, please.
Okay, so the first issue raised was the issue of the ordering of the arrest of Honorable Yeke. The Constitution says that lawmakers are immune from arrest going to session and coming from session, which generally, according to our rules, we have sessions on Tuesday and Thursdays. This incident occurred on a Tuesday, except for felony or breach of the peace, right? Clearly, a traffic violation is not a felony. I am not sure it is even a breach of the peace. The question is whether or not Honorable Caliban's behavior was a breach of the peace. And, that is where we're going to say it will have to be in the eyes of the beholder. I have seen different lawmakers argue it differently. In my mind, it wouldn't have risen to that occasion. Given the melee that ensued, certainly there was some kind of breach of the peace. Was it necessary to begin to order the arrest of a lawmaker? I really don't think so. And I'm glad at the end of the day, cooler heads prevailed, and we did not have to go to the situation where a lawmaker was arrested for an incident leading up to a traffic violation where no injury occurred. So I would say, in answering to my brother's question, and I will have to take a dodge there. The relevant portion will be whether or not that was breach of the peace, and I will lean on the side of caution and say that probably that arrest would not have been wise, and it is good that it was not effectuated. I missed the other two questions.
So we didn't say.
Go ahead.
So you can't make your mind whether or not it was a breach of peace or the.
Well, I don't have a police training, so I have an eye as to what constitutes breach of the peace. Certainly, breach of the peace will be where there is such disturbance that the peace and tranquility of people moving about their normal business is disturbed. Did that happen that day? I was not on that scene, as I said. I did not. Watching that video, it was not too clear to me as to what was disturbed to constitute breach of the peace. Certainly, because there was doubt in my mind, I would not have leaned towards the side of arrest. But that would have been a judgment call of a police officer. I am glad it did not lead or it did not rise to that occasion for that to happen, because I feared what would have been the eventual consequences of all of that traffic infraction. So I will leave it at that.
Okay.
The other two issues, I kind of sort of skipped them. I wasn't taking notes.
What?
Something about the election, and the Constitution. I didn't hear that question too well.
Okay, I would advise you please grab your pad, Honorable Counsel, because I'm taking questions in increments.
Certainly.
So please do that. Now, in December of 2020, we have the special elections coming up. Tension is building, and CDC wants to rig in Monserrato by all costs. And yet we are with a guy who coined the name The Light. His supporters seem to be very pleased with him, and he's breaking that if he does not win by 300,000 votes, then something as is run, and he was on record saying that if anyone cheats, this will be the end of the Weah's administration. You are one of the close allies to President Weah. What do you make of that statement?
That is hyperbole. Nobody cheated Senator Dillon the first time, and nobody will cheat him the second time. You know, in the political theater, sometimes we tend to get out of hand with our speech. We do that when we have audience, and there's no evidence that anyone is planning to cheat. There's no evidence that anyone is planning to do anything untoward in these elections. All of the valid votes that cast will be counted, and the winner will be declared. The thing about Monserrado County is an open and transparent county when it comes to voting and monitoring votes. It's one place where everyone has their own monitors. So Mr. Dillon will have his own, Senator Dillon will have his own election monitors at each polling station, and they will be able to observe the polling taking place. I do not see the possibility of what he described as cheating going on. It's maybe a little bit of paranoia mixed with hyperbole.
Okay, again, we want to go to the line, and folks, I'm going to say what I said last night. Please respect the platform. Please be respectful of our guests, and we don't want people going personal on this platform. Please stick to the issues. He was called here for a specific reason, and please stick to the issues. Like I said, Honorable KOFFA moved to Liberia 2009, and ever since then he has been. He started practicing, and now he works for the government of Liberia, and we are here on specific issues. So please stick to the issue and stop attacking his personality. Thank you. We have 610 is the area code 3803. Please tell us your name.
Hi, my name is Ashford Garley, and I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Could you please speak a little bit louder?
My name is Ashford Garley, and I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
KOFFA, welcome to the show. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. But I have a question and kind of concern that I want the honorable lawmaker to address with the issue of the brother-in-law of the president and this mining issue. Because from what the videos that I watched, where this brother-in-law was kind of putting these guys on Facebook, you could see that these guys were kind of in fear for their lives or for their jobs, that they had to just come and answer, like a kid, and you threaten him that you gave him. So I'm not sure. Somebody is not telling us the real thing. What is going on? If we want to develop Grand Crew County, is it supposed to come to the people of Grand Crew? Why would he go to a particular area with these military trucks and all this kind of thing? Can the lawmaker really? It's kind of fishy. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we have the last four digits of your number, 9459. Please tell us your name.
Yes, good morning. I'm Bernard, calling from Australia.
Welcome to the show. You're live on the radio.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Garley, and thank you for your guests. My concern here is how to do with the arrest. I want to know from that law, for our lawmaker there, whereby because from his answer, he's not really static. He's rhetorical in answering all the questions that were posed to him. Don't you think, honorable lawmaker, don't you think the reason Yaga refused our arrest, number one, there were no warrant or arrest exhibited by this police officer? And number two, you don't think it was premeditated to take away Yaka Koluba's car and then place something in his car? Because I'm a man who fought an event. During the Power June 7 demonstration, the same police premeditated that. They arrested their car and took it to the police, and broad daylight, they said they were going there. Do you think Yaka was trying to prevent these things?
Thank you.
That was the reason?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have 1488. Please tell us your name.
Hello, Afro. Thank you for having me. This is Curtis Dolly.
Mr. Dolly, welcome to the show.
And I want to thank you. Thank you. I want to thank you for always hosting our leaders to come and tell the Liberian people what they are doing. Well, I have just a few questions. One of them has to do with, I know the council touched it, but you know, our society is gullible. When there is something in the air, whether it's true or not, it's good for you to talk about it, let the people listen to you. I just heard my colleague talk about some of the answers are rhetorical. This allegation that has been in the air that the counselor was incarcerated in the U.S., even when he worked with the early Johnson Sirleaf government, that information was in the air in Liberia.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Kindly address that.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Hello? Okay, let's stick to the issues while the counselor is here for tonight, okay? He's here to talk about Grand Crew County. He's also here to tell us about current event in the country. Leave his personal business alone, please, okay?
Okay, my other question has to do with he being the head of the judiciary branch, the judiciary committee. The elections in Liberia is about ensuring that there is peace in the country. Any election that is tampered with is a problem. Another colleague said that the Supreme Court issued in 2017 that the voter roll should be clean. On his watch as a lawmaker for 3 years, heading the judiciary branch, how far are we, because they are also in charge of elections matter, how far are we with the cleaning of the voter roll so that Liberians can have confidence in the elections process? Because when there is no confidence, there could be crisis. I mean, all of ignorance, all of speculation. So I want you to kind of just tell the Liberian people, where are we on that? So that we all can be clear and go to the elections with peace of mind so that people cannot have a fear that people are going to cheat and the rest of it.
Thank you. One more caller, Thomas Cora out of Allentown, PA. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Garley. I have a question for the honorable man, FONATI KOFFA. Honorable, I know the live during the live.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Cora.
Being a speaker, but then we don't know what happened, and Honorable Buffer Tima became the Speaker of the House. Are you still anticipating being the Speaker of the House?
How far are we?
Thomas, are you still there?
Hello?
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, my question is, the other time you were anticipating on being the Speaker of the House, but then for some reason, the Honorable Buffer Tima arose and became the Speaker. And there's rumors in the air state that you want to become the Speaker of the House. Are you still anticipating on becoming the Speaker? Can you just clear that out and so we can be in doubt every time?
Thank you. Back to you, Honorable Counsel.
Okay. The issues raised on the issue of the mining. I have not seen a video of the president's brother as the first caller alleged in Grand Crew County. I did see a video of, I think, some farming activity of his somewhere in Grand Bassa County. I would love to see that video in Grand Crew County with the miners before I can make an intelligent comment on it. The second issue is whether or not the voter rolls will be clean and should be clean. Look, in our democratic dispensation, there are many actors that are involved in making sure and policing the political process. And elections is certainly the bedrock and the start of that political process, right? So not only would the Committee on Elections at the House, not only would the inter-party political consulting committees work together to ensure that the voter rolls are updated.
Hello, Councilor, are you still there? Okay, I think we're back. Go ahead.
Yeah, there are international partners that will make sure. So I think the issue of the voter rules will be an issue that will be clear and cleaned before you see the December 8 elections. I have no doubt that that will be taken care of. We can have only one speaker at a time. Currently, the Speaker of the House is the Honorable Buffer Chambers. We all submit to his leadership. He's doing a fantastic job. I cannot announce a quest for a job that is now vacant. Certainly, that is not within our purview. I'm happy to be chair of the judiciary in the leadership of the House of Representatives, and that's where I play my role.
Okay, folks, you still got one more to answer, right? You done with everything?
Yeah, I'm done with everything I heard.
Okay. Now, Honorable Counsel, as we wait for callers, I want you to please set aside your representative hat for a minute. Put on your lawyer cap now. And many are saying that Honorable Finlay is not qualified to contest in Grand Bassa since he did not resign as prescribed by the Code of Conduct. However, the MAPE versus the Election Commission, the Supreme Court ruled otherwise. What is your opinion?
Okay, look, so there are a long line of cases, I would say, that speak to this issue, right? Starting with the Citizens United, I think it's the Mills Jones case, and then ended with the Harrison County case with the Liberty Party. As best as I can tell, yeah, is how our for those of you that live in the U.S. and understand U.S. democracy, you will appreciate this. Here's how our system works. The legislature makes the law. The courts interpret the law. From my best assessment of what happened is that after all of these cases, right, the Elections Commission decided that a failure to resign within the 2 years is not a disqualifying event. It is necessarily, it is a punishable event. Because if you read the seminal case on this matter, which is Abu Kamara versus NEC, the Supreme Court banned now Honorable Abu Kamara because the Supreme Court took its holding was you are banned because while sitting as a member of the government, as an assistant minister in this case, you applied to the Elections Commission for certificate to run, and therefore you are disqualified. The Elections Commission in 2017 interpreted that to mean that the only disqualifying event for any individual is if you are occupying a position in the executive branch of government or in government, and then you apply to run. They can disqualify you from running. That was the holding in the case. Whether that will remain a holding, we don't know. But certainly that was the practice, what the Elections Commission did then in 2017. If you resigned, they issue a fine and they allow you to run. That was the practice. How this is going to hold up, I'm not sure, because we're still on shaky legal grounds on the issue of the 2-year requirement. Also remember that part of the Code of Conduct, which the Elections Commission
Again, folks who want to so sorry for the little buffering of the internet, you know, coming out of Liberia. Yeah, go ahead, Counsel.
Yeah. Okay. Part of what the Supreme Court said in what we call dicta is that the Code of Conduct, by virtue of the law itself, as passed by the legislature, is to be implemented by an ombudsman commission. up to now, Banasari Johnson did not, and President Weah has not appointed an ombudsman. So it looks like a right without a remedy. The legislature needs to step in and try to carve this in a way that you can be able to fully and functionally apply it. In my mind, given what I have seen before, I see no reason why Honorable Finlay will be ineligible to run, given the practice of what happened in 2017. But again, that is up for the court to either affirm or to modify or to deny. I don't know if there will be challenges. Certainly, he's resigned and he's been petitioned and he intends to run. There are persons similarly situated, and we are off to the races on that regard.
Okay, thank you so much. Again, we have the Honorable FONATI KOFFA. He's our special guest tonight. You're on British Radio Africa. Want to go back to the telephone line? We have PI. PI, hello.
Yes, Ashford, and I'm sorry that I'm trying to be a kind of domineering on your show tonight, but the reason is simple. I know Councillor KOFFA. I strongly believe in his sufficiency in the law, and I am always of the opinion that his judgment based on fairness and legal principle will always be something that I can rely on as someone who knows him personally. So I wanted to go to this code of conduct issue, but apparently as I was on the line, maybe somebody had asked and he was addressing that person. So let's assume that what he just explained will suffice for all those who they want to run. For me, it's not just about former Minister Finlay. But each of the code of conduct goes beyond just the individuals who should participate in the electioneering process as candidates. It also restrains public officials. And I remember very well in 2017, as the press secretary to President Sirleaf, I was very much intense with the Joseph Boakai effort to be president. And I eventually wanted to be really active in assisting that process.
I'm listening
I could not because we were restrained by the code of conduct. Though election is way December 8th, we see that some campaigning activities have started and government officials, public officials are engaged in exercises of campaign unhindered. In my mind, it undermines the spirit and intent of the code of conduct. What is the councillor's view about public officials who are openly engaging in campaign activities beyond the fact that, some people believe that certain individuals should not run now because they didn't resign 2 years ago? What does he think about those who are blatantly engaged in campaign activities contrary to what the spirit and intent of that code of conduct is?
Thank you. Okay, the rest just went off the line. Go ahead, Council. Please respond to that question.
You see, Pierre, the code of conduct is one of those things when you look at it as a law that it is very difficult because it's not well crafted, number one. Number two, there is not a will to vigorously enforce it, because I think those who are charged with enforcing it are generally the ones who are likely to break it. That's why it's important to go ahead and put in place this independent ombudsman commission. That is why it's important for us to go ahead and try to develop a way in which the implementation and the regulation of the code of conduct is outside of the political process, of the political machinery. Having said that, you still have the ability to complain, because next state has its own rules about campaigning outside of legally declared campaign periods. So you still have reporting mechanisms, okay? Besides the general issue of the press should be able to flag those individuals, should name and shame. I think there should be complaints filed, okay? I don't think we should just sit back and shrug our shoulders and lift our hands in the air and say, oh, well, you know, you have posited a very good idea, but unfortunately it's generalization on some individuals. Who are those individuals now? For those of us in the political branch of government, I don't think it necessarily falls on us. So we are basically looking at the judiciary branch of government and the executive branch of government. So if there are individuals there that are engaged in activities that constitute violations of the code of conduct, let's call them out on it. But the main important thing, the most important thing that needs to happen.
Okay, again, please bear with us, folks. We're having some serious connection issue here tonight. Okay, I think we're back.
Yes. The main important thing that needs to happen, I think, is either one of two things. Either the president steps up to the plate, appoints an ombudsman commission, and we certainly should be able to apply pressure to make sure he does that, so they can come up with a series of regulations to be able to monitor and properly implement the code of conduct. Or we need to go back to the legislature and redesign it so that the code of conduct is more effective. I agree with him that as it stands now, it's a toothless tiger. It has very little effect because of the way it was designed in the legislature, because of the political nature in which it was crafted, because of the way in which it is written. It is now well drafted. So, and the attempt by many individuals to skirt its tenet. I think it's something, if we are serious as a society, to certainly to want to go ahead and ensure that the code of conduct is indeed something we want to live by. You know, we can't be the fox guarding the hen house. We have to get that ombudsman commission that is independent and able to flag either sua sponte or based upon complaints, violations of the code of conduct, and act upon them. I think that will bring that whole framework into an appropriate legal basis for us to be able to say, yes, we have a code of conduct that forces the integrity of public officials.
Okay, want to go back to the telephone line, and I believe we have 5983. Please tell us your name. This is a Philadelphia number.
Yeah, it's a Philadelphia number, but I'm calling from Iowa. Lodi.
Is it Lodi? Welcome to the show.
This is Lodi. Thank you, Honorable KOFFA. My question to you is in two senses this evening. How do you think his government is doing in President Weah administration? That's one. Two, there was $25 million similar package that you, Honorable KOFFA, approved. Is this similar package for Liberia for the vulnerable people who need for Montserrado County? If not, have the other 14 political counties in Liberia have received any package for this similar food that your government talk about? That's my question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, we have 1846. The last four digits of your number. Tell us your name, please.
Great. This is Bravo Peel. How are you, sir?
Good. I'm doing well. Welcome to the show. Please ask your question.
I wanted to retract a little bit. I know, and I want to commend Councilor KOFFA. And I know we are sticking to the issues. Sometimes we have to highlight some of the successes and the gains that our people that represent us have made. So this is more or less commendation. We observed KOFFA as he chaired the civil mining case. We observed Councilor KOFFA through his election from Grand Crew Mine District. Quite commendably, Councillor KOFFA, we've heard about the clinic, even roads and an elementary school being constructed in ground school, and that is very commendable. I said this, Ashford, but I asked you to say this, and you had mentioned twice already on this line that we need to stick to the issues and nothing personal. But I want to highlight one thing in a very commendable way to Councillor KOFFA. We've watched you, we've observed you from where you came from the U.S. and you went home, and in a meaningful way you've contributed. So I don't want a situation where people feel like we're sweeping things under the carpet for our congressmen. Very seldom we've seen people come into government. You know, everyone's second chance, they go in and they do the wrong thing. But Mr. Councillor KOFFA, we are very proud of what you've done for our people, as remote as Ground Crew is, and the work you're doing on the judiciary. And we are very hopeful, thankful, and let's raise this clarion call that there are greater things that Councillor KOFFA would do. We want you to stay focused, forget the detractors, the haters. And I thought actually I wanted to mention this tonight because for us Liberians, we are always inkling, and we always, as soon as you call Ashford in, what about Ashford? What did he do wrong? We never commend the positive. Councillor KOFFA, you have a lot of supporters. Keep the good job going. We commend you. And Ashford, I know it sounds like I'm bringing a climax to your show, but this gentleman we follow very closely. And I think there are better things. And in fact, there are greater things to happen. Thank you very much, Councillor KOFFA. I just want to commend him for being on the show, but for the work he's done in the district number, in Grand Crew District number 2, what he's doing in the judiciary, and what he's proven to be since he's been in Liberia. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we want to go to 6494. Please tell us your name.
Hello, my name is Gonapa Padolo. I'm calling from the state of Delaware, to be specific, in the state of Newcastle. Good evening, Mr. KOFFA. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I want to assume that you are fine. And thank you for your hard work to bring the Liberian people together. I have a couple of questions for you. And I wish I'll be corrected. I think you came from the Liberty Party and you switched to the CDC. If I'm right, which I tend to be corrected. Do you think you did fair to those who are under the ring and under the sun with you? And I took you to that flight. Immediately you got there. Did you forget about them? And you just immediately switched to the CDC? And my first question. My last question. As you may know, I know, the brother-in-law of the president, we saw him on video where he went to South on the Diamond Mount there, clapping for him, on the mountain clapping for him. And video came out with an AFL equipment, unless to be mining area. What is the AFL machine doing in the forest there? Is it part of the defense ministry job to go there to work, or is it work of the ministry of?
Thank you. Council?
Okay, so I think it's a good question, the issue of running on the Liberty Party, winning on the Liberty Party, and then switching to the CDC. I tell you, leaving the Liberty Party was the most difficult political decision that I have made, right? I was a founding member. I was with the party for 17 years. I would say because it involved a lot of personal issues, I would save my explanation about that transition for my book, if I ever write one, or my history, if I ever write one. There's a lot of personal things that happened that led me away from that party after the 2017 elections that I care not to go into at this time, especially honoring the memory of the late Councillor Charles Walker Bromsky, who was the political leader. I do not encourage such a move like the move I made. I felt it was a move I had to make given the circumstances in which I find myself, which again, I don't prefer to discuss because they involve a lot of personal back and forth. On the issue of the mining, again, I have not seen, unfortunately, that video of the president's brother-in-law. One person said Sastan. I'm sure it was not Sastan. They do not do those kind of mining there. The photographs I have seen are all in what we call the FOPA district, where I've seen AFL equipment in that area. There are bad roads in that area. There is certainly a lot of there are bad roads in that area. There are certainly a lot of illegal mining going on there. And so it's easy to mix the two. Again, I questioned the Minister of Defense. When I first got the photographs, I picked up the phone and called the Minister of Defense and said, look, I'm looking at some mining AFL machines here, what looks to be an activity involving mining or in a mining camp. I didn't see actual mining in the photograph, but it was alleged that way. The minister said he was going to conduct an investigation. He called me back a few days later and said, we have a contract with a contractor there to do road work equipment, and we are not doing mining. I have not seen a video of the president's brother in Grand Crew. I would go back and search for that video. If somebody has it, would you please send it to me? I'll certainly take a look at it. We are here to conduct oversight. The president's brother has come up with a denial. The video I saw was one in Grand Bassa County in which he was talking about doing some farming or some farming assistance. And the AFL machinery are indeed in Grand Crew County. They are doing some road construction work. Whether they are doing mining work it requires a little bit more investigation. If I were to get the video, I would be glad to follow it up.
What, Council, you keep trying to shy away from this question about you not wanting to go into why you left the Liberty Party when you, in fact, played a very important role as the chairman of the Liberty Party. Now, one more thing, you got a little this big offer from the ruling party, the then President Ellen Johnson, you couldn't turn down because you wanted to be with a government, and that could be one of the reasons why you left the Liberty Party, the war. But you say you don't want to go into that. I would need to please expand on that a little bit. Secondly, you said they don't do that kind of mining in Grand Crew when you in fact said you did. When you in fact said you didn't see any video, and this issue keeps coming up. This is not the first guy who said it. Was a lady that said it, and I asked you the question about some type of mining going on. You alluded to that there are illegal, or there was illegal mining going on in South town. Now you also said the defense ministry came out and the investigator never found anything. We want to encourage you to please go ahead and search for that video, because I believe there was a video out there, and there are also photographs of the president brother-in-law in Grand Crew. Council?
Okay, let me take your last question first. Again, I have not seen a photograph of or evidence of him in Grand Crew. I will certainly have my staff and myself chase that down, and also chase down whatever video of him in Grand Crew. I saw a video of him in, I think, Grand Bassa or River says, talking about farming business. Yes, I did indeed talk to the Minister of Defense on this issue, and they laid out to me what the AFL program was in Grand Crew County. Make no mistake, there is a lot of illegal mining going on in Grand Crew. I'm not denying that. Okay. Unfortunately, the Ministry of Lands and Mines does not have the capacity. We attempted to have not only the Bureau of Immigration, because a lot of the illegal mining is done by Ghanaians, foreign nationals in Grand Crew. We also had the National Police that loaned us some detachments that went there. But it's very elusive enterprise to track, because the locals, our own citizens, aid and abet some of these folks. Because, for example, let me give you an example. When I go to Sastown to go home, my house is not big enough to accommodate all of my staff. I generally take my entire staff, because you're going to work for me. When I go to the county, we take the whole office there. And then sometimes we take some individuals. So my house is not big enough to accommodate everybody. We have a local hotel that we used to pay $10 at. The last time I was in Grand Cru, because the Ghanaians occupy that area, okay, the rooms were going not for our usual $10 we pay per night. They were going for $40, and those guys had occupied all of the rooms. Okay, so I couldn't even get rooms, and no longer my credit was no longer good at the hotel because hey, the guy was getting $40 a night on a room. So our people aid and abet those things, and it's part of what we have to do when we're clamping down. Is you're not going to make that $40 a room because we're going to a night because we're going to arrest this businessman. So it's going to be a collective effort. It is not only an effort that government has to come in and do clamp down on illegal mining. It's that the citizens must also be cooperative. And so we win, and we will continue to talk to our people. The biggest thing that has to do on the side of the government, if we need to capacitate the government in terms of the Ministry of Land and Mine, enforcement ability to stop illegal mining in Grand Cru, because the biggest thing that is happening in Grand Cru with illegal mining is the environmental degradation that's happening. The floods that go on in Grand Cru is directly related to the mining activity that's going on there, degrading the environment. So that is something we need to work on. The president's brother's participation, again, we need to see a video of him in Grand Cru. Certainly, if I see it, I will take a second look at his involvement as alleged, but he issued denial. I have no evidence to the contrary, and I have to accept that denial at face value. I think your question was, I think still back to the Liberty Party issue.
That's right.
Okay. Again, when I left the Liberty Party, I left the Liberty Party in January. It was April or May of 2019 before I joined the CDC. So it was not from one to another. The Liberty Party and myself began to separate as a matter of transition right after the elections and the election contest issues that went on in the 2017 as a result of the 2017 elections. I believe it came to a point where my party no longer saw me as an ally or no longer had confidence in me, and I had to give the opportunity to continue to be a viable party in my perspective and my view. Hindsight is 2020 again. I will do nothing or say nothing on the memory of the late Councillor Charles Walker Bumskin, who was my political leader for 7 who was my political leader for about 17 years. The CDC offered me nothing. They certainly didn't give me no party position or anything. I don't think that my circumstances would have appreciably changed. I was given my leadership position before I joined the CDC. I was caucusing with the CDC as an independent lawmaker after I resigned. One of the things that Liberian politics is not mature enough yet is how do you get a lawmaker who is an independent caucusing? What is the problem of joining the party? So part of that transition was, if I'm going to be in the leadership, if I'm going to caucus with the CDC in the House of Representatives, I saw no political reason why I couldn't join our party. But certainly there was no quid pro quo. I wasn't offered anything to do so. It was a free choice, but I had left the Liberty Party 3 months before officially, and I had left the Liberty Party by heart 5 months earlier.
Well, the former foreign minister, the Honorable Weston Garfini, was sitting where you are now last night, and one of the things that he talked about is was reconciliation. He wants to unite the people of the Grand Basin and all the country. Do you feel that same way with the people of the Grand Cru and obviously Liberia?
Look, reconciliation and unity is always a goal that we keep progressing towards, because especially after election contests, there are sometimes very deep divisions and hurt and all of that. So we continue to work towards that. In Grand Cru County, I think we've made some strides.
Okay. Folks, again, we're having some issue here with the connectivity, the internet. And we're hoping that we can resolve this as soon as possible. Again, folks, if you just joining us tonight, we have with us the Honorable FONATI KOFFA, representative of Grand Crew District 2, and he's our special guest tonight. We'll be in for almost 2 hours, and he's been interacting with folks here from the diaspora, and of course, he's also been telling us about activities in his hometown, Grand Crew County. Well, if he comes back, we will check in. But I think we are almost out of town now. Again, we couldn't have Mrs. Lexi Brooks Rabbits in tonight on some special engagement that she has to deal with. And tomorrow we're gonna have Quincy T.Y. Julie, and Quincy will be in our studio tomorrow with some comedy, as always. And on Friday, the guys from the Shippers Association, they want to fire back at the at the LR Edge. So you might just plan to watch on Friday as well. Then on Monday, we will have the Minister of Public Works, the Honorable Mabutu Vlayimpan. And so that's just the lineup up until Monday, on Breach Radio Africa. And again, folks, I want to say a big thank you to all of you for taking up time to be with us tonight. I want to say a big thank you to my team, the strategists, and of course the board members who have worked tirelessly in helping to get the program going on a nightly basis. It's not an easy thing to come here and sit for 2-3 hours, And if this was easy, a lot of folks you either would be doing that. But in the meantime, folks, for our country to move forward, we have got to solve our problem, or to engage our problem in a very civil manner, where we don't attack people. And some of you who are coming here now, when you have political leaders, when your political leader is being attacked, you come out in a certain way that people see as being disrespectful as well. So again, let us continue to be civil. You are free to say what you want to say, but say that on your own platform. Again, we're not taking sides yet with the government, not with the opposition, and that's why we love the role we are playing in this endeavor as one of the directors here at Breach Radio Africa. And folks, I'm afraid that's all the time I had to be with you. Again, God willing, we'll be back tomorrow night. This time with Quincy T.Y. Julie, and then on Friday we'll play host to Mr. Philwoods from the Shippers Association. On Monday we have the Public Works Minister, Honorable Mabutu Vlayimpan. Until then, it can be thanks to the team, folks in Liberia, the board, for job well done, and to my strategists. As the wise man always says, tough times don't last, tough people do. The height of a man is never known until he rises, and there's no second chance to make that first impression. Don't see okra and swallow bone, because you can't hide your nakedness from beef and bucket. When women know you friend black man. This has been yours truly. Jirasit took by Yige, Zaban Plodan, and Jacomo Chiraji. What no Mozo, no one ye mad double to you like Mongradian, Monjimian Jira, and will cry Duebla. Okay, the golden voice of Liberia, the medicine of the microphone, the Ashford the Giant Garley. Have a good night. Yes,